everyone, thanks for visiting mypaperpassion.com. I'm Gabrielle, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to create a really simple and beautiful thank you note. And this is actually the thank you note for the month of July. So if you place an order with me, either through a workshop or online at my Stampin' Up website, you receive one of these thank you notes from me. And I also wanted to highlight the Because I Care Hostess Level 1 stamp set, and also a couple of other colors from the new color renovation from Stampin' Up that I think are beautiful. I mean, you're going to love the new colors from Stampin' Up. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to move my stamp set over to the side. And the dimensions of this card will be 4 by 4. So this is a cardstock here is measured at 8 inches by 4 inches. And it's our early espresso cardstock. It's one of the new colors. And it's a really rich, deep chocolate brown, and I just love it. I've already gone ahead and scored this at 4 inches. I'm not sure if it shows up on the video, but I've already scored it at 4. So I'm just going to take my bone folder now and just fold the card. Fold it up here. And usually what I like to do when I'm using my Stampin' Up cardstock, because it's such a high quality, thick cardstock, I usually go over it a couple different times with my bone folder, just to make sure that my crease is nice and deep there. Okay, so this is going to be the base of my card. Now that it's all folded, it measures the 4 by 4. All right, the first layer of the card is going to be using, it's going to be our Daffodil Delight cardstock, and this is also another one of the colors. And this piece measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm just going to adhere it using my Snell adhesive. Now the second layer of my card measures 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And usually what I do when I layer is I'll make the next layer 1/4 of an inch smaller than the layer before it. So this one measures 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And this is also another one of the new cardstock colors, and it's called Crumb Cake. And I really just love this. It's a really a light tannish kind of color, and it has like the little particles in it. I don't know if it shows up on the video, but it's gives it a little bit of textured look with particles. All right, so before I adhere this, I'm going to do my stamping, and I usually don't like to adhere the final layer before I stamp, just in case I make a mistake, and most times I end up making mistakes. So here's the stamp set that I'm going to be using today. It's the Because I Care Hostess Level 1 stamp set, and anyone who places an order through anyone who hosts a workshop that has sales totaling $150 or more, or if you place an order with me online of $150 or more, this is one of the stamp sets that you can choose from that you can get for free. So if you want to check out other project ideas using the same stamp set, visit my blog at mypaperpassion.com, and you'll find projects over there. Okay, for this card, I'm going to use this stamp here, and then I'm going to be using the thank you, because it's a thank you card. All right, the colors that I'm going to be stamping with, this is the Early Espresso. It's the same color as the base of my card, which is another reason why I love Stampin' Up, because the cardstock and the inks all match up. All right, so now what I'm going to do for this flower, what you could do if you wanted to, is you could stamp the main flower one color and then do the stem like a green if you wanted to. And I've done that before, but for this particular card, I'm just going to stamp it all in one color, which is going to be the Early Espresso. And now with this one, you really want to make sure that you get your stamp nice and inked, because the flower is so detailed. There's so many, so intricate and just very detailed. So you want to make sure that you get all of that on there. So make sure that it's stamped nice and good. And don't be afraid to, pound on your ink pad to get it all nice and inked up. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just take my cardstock here. This is a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and just placing it. I'm going to just kind of place it at a diagonal so that the flower is just not so straight up and down. So there you go. Make sure you press it down a little bit, especially at the stem part here, to make sure that there you go. Make sure that inks up nicely. Okay. And I also am going to stamp thank you with the same color, the Early Espresso. And this one you don't have to ink up as much because it's just, oops, because it's just a small, it's not as detailed as the flower. You can do that. But for this one, I'm just going to do it, I'm right here, the bottom right hand. Okay. Last but not least, before I adhere this to the base of the card, I'm going to take a sponge wedge and just ink up the edges around this piece here, just so that it pops out a little bit, so that it has a little bit more dimension to it. The color that I'm going to use for the edge around this card is going to be the crumb cake, because I don't want it to be I don't want it to stand out too much darker than the actual card, so I'm using the ink that's actually the color of the card. And I'm just going to dab my sponge into the ink here, and I'm just going to go around the edges like this. And really how deep you ink this is going to be up to you. It's going to be your preference. I like to do it a little bit deeper and on the edges, on the corners actually, and a little bit lighter on the edges. And then the corners I like to come in a little bit, so it kind of rounds it off. And you're just going to do this for all sides. And it really makes a difference when you're adhering the layers. Just makes the card a little bit more interesting. Okay. Alright, so that's my layer there. Now it's all set to be adhered to the base. And I'm going to do that again using my Snell adhesive. Okay, now that's our card. That's the outside of our card. And I'm not going to do this on the video, but I'll show you what I did for the inside of the card. I basically repeated exactly what I did on the outside. I repeated it for the inside, and the same exact measurements for the 2 layers on the outside, you'll repeat in the inside. So you're going to take a Daffodil Delight. So you're going to take a Daffodil Delight piece of cardstock measured at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. You're going to adhere that to the inside, and then you're going to take another piece of the crumb cake cardstock, and that's going to be measured 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. The same exact technique that I did with the going around the edges here, I did in the inside, and then I just stamped the same flower, and I kind of had it peeking, kind of poking in there from kind of the edge there. So I didn't stamp the entire thing, I just wanted it to kind of poke through there. And then this is all set for a quick thank you note. Again, if you want to check out other projects that I've done using the same stamp set, go ahead and check out my blog at mypaperpassion.com. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, and thanks for stopping by. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.